Just
Yes, over the weekend, His Excellency President Kubomodia could be fishing harbor Jamestown.
yeah, I think that's almost maybe a season you woman there you'll be seeing a lot of some of these things. And I think Ghana need maybe a experience then near my firm for the past 8 years, you know. So while international we evaluating near manaka can name a boom na a BCC anymore. Now as against some of the things that happen, and then I think that decision the Ghana for never make. And development there so be an hobbit me akasa ompe a banner se beboa manfo asetena mama mpuntu aba. But the question is if we have the capacity to do it, why do we always wait till the last minute? I could say you hear nipa vote na say you fa Russia will be a year nema. Na no me fa kromi hu ekwan ya abandoned for almost 1 year near and a contractor was all year juma for 1 year near ya jaya gu ha ko pe ba bi atena all of a sudden contractors in resume be a year day and night. And that is the African politics for you. So some of these things that Dr. Rand may assure say and this is not the first time you who name be say about a signature the campaign especially by elections I know my midnight behuna man for sabo singu kwan so midnight what when better na kwan after elections na quite to immediately after the elections they don't even come back again. But baby bedri I'm hoping senka Ghana ni ye nibete na ye hu se adena ye no ye nya mobi na mom ya nkasa ye ama ye ho nti ye na ye ni ya nipa bebo edin akaye because by the time anakwa am nkroma tie gina na oye shoe factory oye jute factory oye way factory no, even though the political capital then was very useful, but I'm not sure say and not per se na drive on. He has a particular vision say esa me ye na Ghana ye na Ghana so be ye krabehwe there be so be bo man ni din a be hu say we yen so ya ye bi do what the we ye the people remember not the way ma me to abama. But unfortunately I think say politics in the olden days na nimdeɛ ne nyansa kakra wom nipa ɛyɛ adwuma a utimi sɛ ɔhwɛ the greater good ne na for but ɛte ba animu ya yɛsɛ nimdeɛ ne yɛfɛ adesua bam bebree na yɛhwɛ sɛ nka yɛbɛkɔ yɛ anim no. I don't know why we are retrogressing at a lightning speed because our hair in Nkrumah era those days na yɛsɛ anibie ni hɔ no as against where we are today the difference are very very wide, and I'm sure say it is the other way. And instead of saying improving on some of the things that they did in the past, we sit here today and reminiscing the past to say past no mum na present no yet. I think that is a huge indictment on the kind of leadership and politics that we do. And the bit me be free ma ebe
Mamimbusa, Ebanisa, Bebusa say, who do we blame? Is it the people or the leadership? Because Becca say the taxpayers' money, the tria contractor. One would be expecting saying a contractor need to ye kwan wa and go be a kwan a bell last year. Now say and last year, Obebusa say asutwin bi wo my contractor no. And as ye jano ema ne kosa because we have some of the rules are everybody sika kom and I think so recently cry no let me say over the weekend or so John Mahama, a former president, was making a friend is a point to be say President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo say wa building Rose Bebree na so who Rose Bebree no why there wa building no Kofo Bebree no say yes Sapete no na ekoso. You think is that contractors are they a kwan esi a kwan yo de hye wo nsa no omne omai Ghana no dodo no ane omai Ghana no edini yi ana.
Yeah, Dr. Ren, I think you can see a blame contractors in this regard. Because you can say leadership is everything. Rest near cause and effect. One hour de Jumadia sha Dr. Ren say me di Jumadia ya sha unsa say about 4 p.m. Kusi 6 p.m. Bra Rainbow Radio na betanase. Na current issues aba beka na amanfo ente. Day one, yes, start adwuma no 4 o'clock. Ube duru adwuma mu ho 4:30. Day 2, oba 5 o'clock. Day 3, oba 5:30. Oba adwuma no ye na wokọ. But contract na demand yes be ye adwuma no 4 o'clock to 6 p.m. But what shall say woba air traffic na wanya justification na say adwuma mu ho obia hwe wani man kantra sabrante. This is not what we agreed on. Ya maudwuma this so somebody NSA call to order. Now catch us say me the adwuma sha wonsa. Say na me pesa we yama me. So at the end of the day, which situation say oba bia mete no e bia meduru ha, either you change the time or maybe you pull out for another person or ben ha obetime deliver the same thing to do. So it is all about leadership. By hand contract, so we had the processes and the procedures involved in our contractor ye fence we ye no krum haya. Nipa no benya contract Dr. Ren. Na si bribe wotua and sana ne nse ka that contract wa winim.
Wotua ma hwan ya.
Nipa na award the contract in the no. And there has been a number of investigations. I think some Manasa be contract for sale the whole of Urema. Core at the core of these things, Obi krabet me akwaje contract, oni the capacity, oni she company no cry the year adwuma oni bi. Then the person will subcontract the job to another company. Enti me na makakwaje ebi America say emfidie no kura me ni bi me de ba kwan. But mahu say obi wo ho but nipa no ni political connection. Enti me kwagye then I've na subcontracted that particular job to you. Sana ye no. Enti at no the day sika na esa wo de ye adwuma no ye ni ye no. Enam said the very people I be supervise say a demand this adwuma no wa ye ni ye no agi o makati afiri mu nti no. So why ye no wa ye ni ya he cannot come back and question you. Because sika na me de ya kwan no me no wa che. Nipa na ode ma na agi ni percentage. The WhatsApp contract to no so no ono so agi the percentage. So I know the day bisa say sika ben na ebeka ama contractor na de ya kwan no ama na nya no so mfaso. And you also be making sure that kwan na oye no omoka. And then nam sa wo so wunim dwumadi a wadi be free no ho ti say kwan na anye yi a nobody will go back to the road and check say e haya yesi anasa e haya yesi. Enti oya no ansa wa ye gya no akọ. There are a number of high profile roads a ye ama contractor me say wo kọ na wo hu kwan a ye ato ha Dr. Ren ubesu. Because aya anajo na yesa B2Me nugusu sa akeke na ye de ade afa so na wagya no hokọ. I know the day obia nhodu obia accountable because menim say the road ma contract ama nipa na ya adwuma ni say nipa na hande over mawa wonu no some years of engagement anyway bia be ko on toward bia no nipa no e wo so oba no obaye kwan no okọ outside companies no mo ye kwan no bi o ha wa ye kwan na wie no the next 5 years nyina no maintenance na se fo nyina ka contract no ho. And to say you patches and answer anyway over here, I will do my dear so by now. But Nipa na or the contract, man, we are building a contract on a fraudulent premise. What your cash, madam cash. So I know that they find any young fan year. So then come back to leadership. Because Sasika way and the other run the political parties. Sasika way near the year who ye, Sasika na ebwaya maya to ye near my ye, into the contract banner ye ma, a honor yenya BBD. And Tinipa no so kwakwaje. And after all, it will interest you to know that contract na ye de massa companies na make away with the local ones, maybe about foreign ones and also local ones, companies na ye award the contract na more money companies owned by these same big people within government. Either send a yerenua ba and a register company to his name, say by directly no any link to him. And now what facility and now or no company. But will register in somebody's name. So we kumo. So opasa what is our name we are share ABAJ. Na all ton contract for sale. No go and check companies ya. Na odi yes our name no. Ayo no ankasa company what build it around or no ankasa na ho. And you go through PPA and as if for the contract in man ho. They know a sublet and now a subcontracted to other companies. No one the cash a film. So I know the day no oko so be ye so we on them fan because or yeah juma we are panyini bia ni krom ha or sora kohesa juma ye ni and answer anye ni. And that is the culture. Bisa I say by na World Bank MI in sika. about 43 million. See, I'm finding sanitation. Kroba. Accra see I'm not say choky and felt. Now ya who say $1 million and over Cecilia the pam passe. So woman in charge of that sector. That's a parliament. What the one who say, yeah, the sika way am a mammy way, a human ye. And I'm saying Ghana non for Obia when you be a baby didn't know. Nobody was able to call that woman. Now what Bisana say, now Sassika be the way as young fine sanitation in Accra. Sassika no do not bay and our day. Now ultimately what as Obia we are responsible what person Maria Jumano, you audit the work. You request the necessary documentation and indeed exercise Sassika or the yes Jumano. Now Sanyama way you know. Now a free republic where anybody at all can bet me they am a contract near we are our one dear. Dr. Ren, some of these things are bound to happen. Obia by fan wadi. And internet over the years. Yeah, the crime Emma Obia. Yeah, after 1 year now crime to yeah, the crime will be yeah the way just Obia anywhere. Or Tanasi Ashes are near any year and I see any year. And Otimamu for no one hour country no.
Ivan Obeka say. Say the adwuma ma obia the minim ne say at least no ye wo a quantifiable measure of performance a otwanity awa now the bar be say the key performance indicators KPIs.
Yes.
And the contractors near more adwuma no ha KPIs na any saying because sir it may be my contractor. One of the things I know is that what goes into a contract awarding is a obehwe about a year the panel. The bobrene the capacity.
Yes.
How bet me a year jumano. And in Tibu say everyone say a road construction, you think about the safety measures, you think about the F work, you think about the material, stockpile measurements. You think about a friend say the supplier expectation. Now the social issues no a krum wono or in the fra for doors saying montiasem a yomaswesi saying and you factor all into it into no design the road ni we are say making sure say one more a befa a quinoso no so able so disable no and a problem or an issue to the people. All these things you factor into a road construction. And the saying because now we may want to say yenua baako ana akra baako enam western region ana wode ne nsa esa ahwea a road na say ye de boba na guo na ye de ko taa no ye de gusu say and was a sa ahwea no say aba bedu efom not kokko no che say oyan busa say adan ye ho sa. Why are we doing this to ourselves?
Yes. So you see read out now ready it's very nice. But these things come to play when you build a contract on a very transparent, that kind of way premise. I wouldn't say indeed there is a contract. But when you build a contract on a fraudulent premise, on a bribery premise, where the person knows, I have paid before getting this thing. Mitia woka ansa na obetina radio station ho me uje me bribe ansa na wo fa me. So there are certain things I do I feel within me say you can't hold me accountable because okasa wo pan me a meje misika. So when the contract na your premises say yes, rules of engagement in you demand some of these things even before the start of the contract. Because I want the road contract you need to be very much sure say nipa no other the requisite capacity to deliver on the job. When it comes to the financial masala, nipa no I want me secure the bank guarantees ya chero say in sabeka sika because obi enu hokwa ya ban adwuma yetua ne ka ansa na wakwaye. You need to secure bank guarantees and then as for assurance that you have the funds that buy in and what the buyers are near man. And the work expertise, you have the personnel, sometimes the experience, and human why you be baby, why you have the track record, a proven one a bit. When we do all these things and it is proven, say, you know the capacity, then all these indicators will come to play. But we are talking about a situation where Nipanu themselves, I can sit here and tell you, most of the companies now, Yamomo contract within the past 6-7 years in here. Dr. Ryan, most of the companies, for me, 1 year after, now when you have big contract, or you have 6 months after, Obi will have 3 months after. Now, no, me no have a conversation about this 5G contract and I can have some company I form after few months and I had all this big task I 4G, a 5G network delivery. So I know the day no track record ben away the financial capacity no he. So contract na ya de money pa no ya de amano on fraudulent basis. Ya ji ya de na ya de amano. It at no the day you can't hold the person accountable. Now no what ya na ebe da adwa say among all the big sports stadia ya wo krom ha no nyina na ba kokura ni ho a qualify to play international match a CAF standard no MET. I can sit here and tell you, say, Dr. Ren, in the past 5 years, you're renovating your stadium 5 times. The past 5 years, you're renovating stadiums, Oklahoma 5 times, Accra Sports Stadium, Kumasi Sports Stadium, Secondary, and the amount of money I go into this renovation, we best show. It is Accra Sports Stadium, your mama, your papa, dear. Now, Obi Beji over about 25 million Ghana cedi, now 41 million Ghana cedi, so for renovation. Now, official, no, Samba, so Beji says, Sikano Bima, Sikana, your dear canocre, your company, will you give that money to the person? But I'm saying, award na ya award, no, ya award, what for one papa G, dear. And you know, or Bob boom, or Konowa, you cry, you cry, and because it will give us another reason to give out another contract. Sabi, make Sika, oh, Kroma say, because. Mine no you be a mama dear. Mine no you be a papa dear. Nobody fight for the interests of the country. Always is about partisan. The many argument to Kroma will be a or defend Ghana. It is about where you stand. So on mine a year children you twap the baby and I build the young cassa your interest in your party then as a forum. And the frustrating aspect of it all, the other side or expect to say. Hold the government accountable and as for some of these mistakes have been done in the past. I also want the same skeletons in their cupboard.
Okay, the other side now which the NDC.
The opposition, yes. The same skeletons in your first closet. So you and in the future, the probability that some of these things will continue or not is high. So I bet you chop, I chop. So I think that we need to retool. You realize that we are building a mind for the future. But maybe we are not building a mind for the future. We are building ourselves, our capacity, our individual way. Sabaya, your interest in us for neighbor cater for. But see, build your mind power for the future. There is the reason why you don't see any plan, any blueprint be a Ghana at the air run and say, oh, in the next 10 years, this is the vision of minor war. We want to industrialize. We want to improve on our transportation network. Ghana has say your railway then as for you take it to a different level. You build it, the Cote d'Ivoire can go into an agreement. Say this is the railway line as you build the Cote d'Ivoire government. It's an initiative. You be do do also but so you'll be able to
and the credit saying Transeco was you cried it should be one of those things. But
exactly
the Ghana Chrono Ivan, I asked myself, say a cry. You were railway minister, but we have no trains. So why should we have a railway minister, not trains? Why don't we give it to a year one more these a year railway a friend is saying authorities if we not go manage your railways and go pay time we be training now we inculcated now pay a sector minister be our sure because any crowd any train be out and this person goes to work. And he collects a salary.
Na port I had the sandboard was you could follow this port sandboard cater almost best 6 years in year. You will see what it's Yanaka and you see a seaporto. There is no port anywhere in Cater. Signboard in the sea hall. Your management members are yet your mocha. So I just said,
is it the people? Is it the people that do not understand the democracy, what is going on? And now say is, I mean. It's a deliberate being who take advantage of the ignorance of the people. So, well, one continue maybe as intino yenye biara famano. And I say it's a choice. You need choice how to go about making sure that we get the right people that can transform the nation within the space of 8 years.
I think that it's a hostile mixture of these factors. Sometimes it's ignorance, sometimes it's deliberate kind of way, sometimes a bit of emotion, sometimes a tribalism. So a hostile mix of these your friends saying factors here because you see we become so much attached to political institutions that sometimes we lose our senses in the process. Because the whole essence of we joining political party, forming a government, and then is to provide a certain your friend is incentives economically, socially, politically, religiously, all aspects. Nipa no betimi leverage it to maximize your individual way of improve your life. Government cannot fail in this regard because citizens, a hope and your life is standing on. But where people take an emotional detour, where they invest emotions into political institutions instead of investing wisdom, at the end of the day, the political party is part of it. It's fooling around. It's messing up. People are stealing. He doesn't even get a dime out of what they are stealing. But these people, because they have invested emotions and not wisdom into some of these things, they still feel so, still I'm part of it. So when you say you are part of it, then the person out there is emboldened because at the end of the day, or messy up, he has an army of idiots always ready to protect and fight for them. There is always an army of an unwise pool of people always and these people a certain leverage, a certain that is the difference between us and those more Europe, because after industrial revolution, various revolution, a man for the margin at the university our politics is the reason why what dying war Kosoro our UK said one of we have one of the major crises our Europe, our UK per se first a cost of living, especially a back or rent, and then as a form was a man for Ginas idea we so at Waba and then government and what's not for 14 good years, so where people feel say at the end of some of the decisions people will be bold enough look at their immediate situation by your understanding of politics and say a young it belongs to a certain class of people. So we accord them a certain unwarranted veneration, which is respect. They don't deserve. We discuss the issues. Some of us will prefer to use plain language. And we go direct and tell you how the issue is. The average Ghanaian will feel the pain. Say, oh, you are disrespecting the president. But Dr. Ren, disrespect Ben a chain say, Obiti Babina Obi or Maisika. Disrespect Ben a chain say, Obidi Kwanyamo, Bisa Onion or the taxpayer, Etiaka. Now I know the day crying oil and a Sapete3. Now when you're penny be our bet and I say, who say, Sabiansu, Nipa and Sawi team, we can't watch these things. And I know the day who says, I near man Koswa. People will take you for
granted. And these again, some year king. I mean, stating the fact to say we have allowed our emotions to override our reasoning, no. And until a coban say will be ye quite yes Sapete3. Your reasoning can end to mean trains. Sa can cause accident and it will lead to death. And into Yama Modiani and Kasa. Then the Pacrona warrior a quine, 1 year because Nipano a befast one. Woman qua ejina a quine panwa woman and antes one.
Yes.
Why can't we even? And your standard is so cheap and so low, And meanwhile, so this are the same Ghanaian over UK. He expect the best form of treatment.
Yes, and it's the reason why sometimes I get pissed off when some of these Ghanaians or when you're too kind to experience some of these things. Sebi, almost still sit there and they defend this nonsense going on in this country. You are there. Quite on fast on more building UK, you don't even know. Quite a man for fast on more toilet, yeah. The winner and say, fortunately, you are there, you are enjoying. And you think the messy situation going out there is okay because you are part of it when you don't even get a dime. What that's around upon one for 1 month and I say, well, yeah, wow, you feel the heat. So you see, sometimes I think that a young casa that is why I've been telling people, say, if you go to Omaya a fairly consistently, Dr. Ren, nobody is a victim. We are all sponsors and accomplices. Because you see, say nipa ye link it directly. For instance, when you walk on Sapete3, say nipa no konya accident no wa. Ghana ni entrance nka say aya kwan na ya nya ni ye no. Osofo bi beka say baifo bi akwakwasha kwan no so a oji moja. Enti na ye hwie moja tugu. Instead of using scientific, reasonable thing, everything verify, ya ni ye no. Ya the mame watabi na kwasha kwemu ho na oji moja na ohwi amam fogu. So I know the day when you say it is because of bad road, how many nipado do say na beji wedi. Enya bad road because aya bayifo na hye wura mu. Na de build the kwan no so na account na dwenim say. Na ya kra ba wiase be ye de nyankopon ba temu da bi ba be fa ye nyina akọ. And this nipa temu da be fa wo de o build the kwan a longevity what the yadan 50 years what the 50 years kwan yadan mami biasa some of these things people think that a knee effect. I'm telling you say a very significant impact on our psyche. That is why in Africa people don't do investment. Brony can do 100-year investment because him say so Owukrana they are living a legacy. Somebody will come and continue. How many black people and a live way as a for more chrome high. They have the potential to build empire. I'm telling you. But the money Sunday no more koshia ya kwa reprako na ya to cars na ya denam krom na ya to omo di na manfo di omochi. Not that they don't have the money, but they are the foresight to build upon the so-called wealth no omo nya a betimi aboa because Bill Gates eguso epesika. Some of the big Elon Musk today, look at the kind of investment he's making into spacecraft and as a forum. By hand, Onyaka Krabi build it 3-4 radio station bia. Diaka or the talkers I can say that fan Kramaiwa and non kwana yedimie. That is so the driver everything Genedia actually say I have the capacity because I started from ground zero. So my team I can go forward. I build a bigger empire. I met me a transform my life, means super contribute to me quota and as a for in Nigeria, Dangote, I'm told say we're building the biggest refinery in Africa. He's an individual because he has a vision. You may have your issues with the way a manner they get their money and they start, but I know the day, vision, we're taking it to a different level because the biggest refinery, do you know how many people he can employ and the returns everybody so. But that vision, so some of these, me say, it's an interplay of a lot of factors, religious, and I think that it is largely, fairly because of we the people, because of our mentality and because of the way we think. Because, my culture say in a democracy, the biggest sentinels are which we are protecting the democracy, as shepherded the democracy, it's not those in power, but those outside power. I am a no. Because you never put too pressure on them to do the right thing. Say UK, Prime Minister Biba resign the people, not in the colleagues. Say America, say changes it is the people, not those in power. But answer na those in power, you need to wield a certain collective power. And that collective power knows no political boundary. Whether you are NDC, whether you are MPP, you know, say, this thing, sorry against it. This thing, let us all rally behind it. But I don't know, we know it is an evil thing that we need to change. But because I am so much invested in the political party, I lose my senses. And this OB kind of crowd in China, then you get pissed off. It's the reason why these people have taken Ghanaians for granted. Because you see, so we have power now, Africa, the playbook is simple. Nipa no di power neno. Or abo kwan bia to sebe ya ne babeba to aso because in recent times apart from Rollins in the way obia papa was some point in time was in government making sure that they put their kids in a very special place or not baba inherited in Africa or Kenya. That was the blueprint. There are you can mention a lot of African countries. That is the blueprint. So I know the day We are just some people are there. We are always hovering around. These people build empire for themselves. They build it for their kids. They leave a legacy that will bring their kids back to inherit the same tattered and deplorable country they are leaving behind. So it is up to Menewo. I no, enough of this nonsense, because this country we all have equal stake. And until say you better get it out of our partisan obia want the party, obia want the party political affiliations and alliances. So obia will be. But you see, sometimes we all look at the greater good. Because at the end of the day, say now you're clotted back to party. We lose foresight. We don't even know where we are going. And our mind say we need baby trust me, we know that. You only get to your destination when you really know where you are going. But every year, I've been observing a lot of stuff. Dr. Ren, minimum mind vision, and citizens are not interested. We are only interested in petty, childish, infantile politics where we do we have time, no way, can we have to. So growing up, community be a free, obi NDC no be MPP near. I'm not time nipa ya me no kasa we hu kufo da Rollins we hu ne da o. But because of that kind of way, no, they hate each other. This person cannot marry from this house because we NDC MPP. But politics there is just an ideological divide. We may agree or disagree on certain things, but at the end of the day, the destination is getting political power to fix a broken country, to provide incentive for the welfare of the people, to provide incentive that people can leverage, especially young people, to give them a future. Because away your mind, now young people in that country is dead. Because young people and you don't build your mind. Young people na better loan. Young people na better mortgage or better young people na a transactive business and then as for them. But in Africa, it's the other way around. And nipa no muba be wuno. Omu na sika no omunsam. And those are omuhia sika no at this youthful age. Say about the they don't have it. Akwesa obeko a typical African home. Papa na obewu a diabetes adrodore na ese otu anam no ye wi aduane na yasasa akokoti na akokɔ nan ne na tab bibia agu na aduane so onwenwu akora na yawo na ketwa na ohia this protein way to grow no na ya da akokɔ tabu half bi ato na bi era to na aduane no so enti enche na kwhwe kwache no we are jokers sometimes. We are just jokers. We are not ready to grow.
In 2022, a year nipa 2,373 people were killed in road crashes. Road acquisition.